The Bears are finally stepping outside of their own camp bubble, and it couldn't come at a better time. Training camp has its value, sure, but there's only so much juice you can squeeze out of watching your own guys go up against each other every single day. It gets repetitive. It gets stale. And that's why this upcoming joint practice with the Dolphins on Friday is exactly the kind of test this team needs heading into Sunday's preseason opener. Let's start with the obvious name everyone will be watching, Caleb Williams. The #1 overall pick, the face of the franchise. These joint practices are where we start to see what he's really made of. It's more intense than regular camp reps, and honestly, in a lot of ways, it carries more weight than preseason games. It's fast-paced, it gets chippy, and both sides are hungry to show out. This is where we see how Caleb handles the pressure against a defense that's not wearing the same color jersey. It's not just about throwing dimes. It's about timing, chemistry with receivers, managing pre-snap chaos, and adjusting to disguises from a defense that's coming in unfamiliar. The Dolphins won't be dialing up their full playbook, but it's still the kind of competitive environment where a young quarterback has to grow up fast. If Caleb looks sharp, gets into rhythm early, limits penalties, and controls the huddle like a veteran, it's going to give this coaching staff a massive boost of confidence. And let's be honest, if he outshines Tua Tagovailoa during this session, that narrative is going to fly across the league. But Caleb's not alone. There's a lot of buzz around Kyle Manengai, and for good reason. The rookie running back is turning heads and looks like he's fighting his way into a legit role this fall. Ben Johnson said it himself. He's a guy they think they can trust when the regular season starts. And that matters. That tells you they're not just trying him out. They're actively evaluating how he fits into their rotation. He's a bruiser. He runs with purpose, has great contact balance, and Friday's joint session is a perfect setting for a back like him to show off. It's not full tackle to the ground, but there's enough contact to see who can finish runs, stay upright, and impose their will. There's definitely a battle brewing behind DeAndre Swift for that #2 running back spot, and Kyle is making a push. It's too early to say he's jumped Roscoe Johnson, but if he keeps trending like this, it could get real interesting down the stretch of camp. Another offensive player I've got circled is Rome Odunze. This guy might be in for a massive second season. The connection with Caleb is building, and Ben Johnson has already placed him in that inner circle of trust. That's not nothing. That's the offensive coordinator saying, I know I can scheme plays for this guy, and he's going to deliver. Rome's had a strong camp, even dusted Kyler Gordon the other day for a touchdown in the back corner of the end zone. The kind of playmaking is exactly what you want to see from a second-year receiver. Now it's time to translate that to game speed, well, as close to game speed as joint practices allow. The Dolphins' secondary, frankly, isn't scaring anybody. They're down Jalen Ramsey. They don't have a true lockdown corner, and it's mostly a mix of youth and journeyman back there. If Rome is who we think he is, he should be able to win consistently in these matchups. This is his chance to dominate another team's secondary, flash his route running, and build even more momentum heading into preseason action. And while we're on the topic of offensive playmakers, you've got to mention the two rookies that are quietly rising, Colston Loveland and Luther Burden. These guys are raw, sure, but the upside is insane. Colston has been making plays basically since day one of camp. And even though Luther missed the first handful of practices, he's come on strong ever since. Both of them are still playing catch-up in terms of system knowledge, but the talent is undeniable. The coaching staff knows they've got a crowded room at the skill positions. Colston has to earn snaps over guys like Cole Kmet, and Luther's competing with DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and others. Nothing is guaranteed, but in football, the eye test still matters. If you're making plays in practice, especially in joint practices, eventually they've got to put you on the field. This Friday is a big day for both rookies. If they flash against Miami, it's going to be tough to keep them out of the regular season game plan. Let's not forget the trenches either. All eyes on Azzy Trapillo at left tackle. The rookie is in a legit battle with Braxton Jones for that starting job. Right now, it looks like Azzy might be pulling ahead. But this is the kind of situation where things can change fast. Facing your own edge rushers every day, you start to learn their tells and habits. But going up against an entirely different defensive line, that's where you find out what you're made of. If Azzy holds up in protection, keeps a clean pocket for Caleb, and doesn't get flagged for false starts or holds, it's going to solidify his status. This is one of the most important positions on the field, and Chicago desperately needs consistency here. This joint practice might just be the final piece of the puzzle before the team starts leaning fully into one guy over the other. Now flipping to the defensive side, Dio Dangbo is someone that come alive recently. Started slow in camp, but something's clicked over the last week. He beat Trapillo in FanFest, forced Caleb off his spot early, and you can see the confidence growing. The Bears need him to be that guy. Opposite Montez Sweat, Dio is going to get a lot of one-on-one looks, and he has to capitalize. The pass rush depth behind the starters isn't particularly deep, so there's pressure on Dio to not just show flashes, but to string together consistent reps. If he gets pressure on Tua or disrupts plays in these joint practices, it's going to be a strong indicator that he's ready to handle that starting role. Speaking of guys rising up the depth chart, how about Nashon Wright? Let's be real, he was basically written off after flaming out in Dallas. But since coming over to Chicago, he's completely flipped the narrative. He's been working with the starters while Jalen Johnson recovers, and it doesn't feel like a placeholder situation anymore. It feels real. He's big, physical, loves press coverage, and he's going to be tested big time going up against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Those are two of the fastest receivers in football. If Nashon can hold his own, break up a few passes, and avoid getting torched, it's going to speak volumes. The cornerback number 2 job is wide open. If Wright can continue this level of play, even when Jalen is back, he might not give that spot up. There's also some quiet buzz building around rookie linebacker Ruben Hippolyte. You probably haven't heard his name a ton, but he's starting to get more and more reps. Solid OTAs, and now a steady camp. The Bears run a lot of nickel, so the top 2 spots are locked in with Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. But that third linebacker job, that's very much up for grabs. If Ruben can be trusted to step in without the defense falling apart, it changes the outlook of that room entirely. If not, the team might need to look outside for a veteran late in camp. This practice against Miami is going to be critical for Ruben. He's had a real shot to prove he belongs. And then there's Jaquan Brisker. Not because we're questioning his talent. We know what he can do. But after missing the final dozen games last year with a concussion, this is a gut check moment. This is about confidence. This is about showing he can still play at his physical, aggressive level without holding back. The physicality of joint practice will test him mentally and physically. If he comes through clean, makes a couple of statement hits, and walks away healthy, that's a huge step forward for him and for the defense as a whole. So now the table's set. These joint practices aren't just walk-throughs. They're opportunities for rookies to prove they're not just potential, they're production. For veterans to lock in starting jobs. And for this new-look Bears team to start shaping its identity. The buzz around this joint practice goes beyond just individual evaluations. This is about culture. This is about toughness. When 2 teams line up on the same field in August with no scoreboard but plenty of pride, you find out which team really has that edge. And that's where this Bears roster, still being molded under new leadership, has a chance to make a statement. You want to see competition. You want to see emotion. You want to see guys fighting for jobs like it's already week 1. And all of that starts in the trenches. That's where games are won. And in a setting like this, that's where respect is earned. The offensive line, with so many moving pieces still trying to settle into place, is going to be under the microscope. We already talked about Azzy Trapillo, but it's not just him. The interior trio, especially the rotation at center, needs to show they can handle pressure. Miami's got some dogs on the defensive front, and they're going to test the protection schemes early. If the Bears' offensive line struggles to communicate, if pre-snap penalties creep in, or if blitz pickups fail, it could be a long morning. But if they hold firm, if they set the tone, it sends a message not just to the Dolphins, but to every future opponent watching tape. And on defense, that same standard applies. The pass rush can't just be theoretical. We've been hearing about potential from players like Dio Odangbo and Austin Booker, but potential doesn't matter unless it shows up in live reps. If you're supposed to be that guy off the edge, then beat your man. Win your one-on-one. Collapse the pocket. That's what the Bears need to see. Because Montez Sweat can't do it all. This team needs waves of pressure. It needs guys rotating in who can still disrupt. If Dio, Booker, or even someone like Dominique Robinson steps up, it changes the ceiling for this defense in a big way. Now let's talk linebackers. Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards are locked in. That duo has the potential to be among the best in the league if they stay healthy. But that third spot is the question mark. And it's not just about who wins the job. It's about who's ready when adversity hits. Because injuries happen. Fatigue happens. And if Ruben Hippolyte is the guy they're grooming for that role, this joint practice is going to be a defining moment. The speed of the Dolphins' offense is no joke. They run motion like it's a track meet. If Ruben gets caught flat-footed, it'll show. But if he reads it right, fills the gaps, and finishes tackles, it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. One matchup I cannot wait to watch is the secondary against Miami's receivers. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. That's elite speed and route running. No hiding on defense. This is a real test for every corner and safety. For Tariq Stevenson, it's a proving ground. For Nash and Wright, it's a potential breakout. If either of them locks down a few reps against that type of talent, that confidence carries over. And don't overlook Terrell Smith. He's been rotating in, getting more work. He's physical, smart, and still developing. This is the kind of setting where a guy like that can quietly rise by just stacking solid reps. And for Jaquan Brisker, as mentioned earlier, it's not just about production, it's about presence. He's one of the emotional leaders of this defense. You want to see him flying around, barking at teammates, setting the tone. If he's back to full speed, the energy of this unit rises across the board. And if you're Matt Eberflus, you're watching him closely. Because this is a defense that will only go as far as its stars take it. And Brisker is absolutely one of them. On the offensive side, something else to keep an eye on is how the wide receiver rotation plays out behind the top two. We know DJ Moore is WR1. We know Rome Odunze is on the rise. But who's claiming that third spot? Dante Pettis? Velus Jones Jr.? Is Luther Burden making a serious push already? This practice will give us hints. Who's getting first-team reps? Who's winning their routes? Who's getting targets from Caleb? That tells you everything about how the staff sees the depth chart forming. And in these kinds of sessions, where it's not scripted like camp, and things get more real, the truth always finds its way to the surface. Now, we can't forget about special teams. It's not sexy, but it's critical, especially for guys on a roster bubble. That third-string corner or fifth wide receiver might not make the team unless he shows out on kick coverage. These joint practices give those guys a chance to prove their value in live reps, gunner reps, return reps, blocking assignments. It all matters. If someone makes a standout play on special teams, it can be the difference between cut day and the final 53. And let's be honest, there's also a mental edge to all this. Teams remember joint practices. Fights break out. Words are exchanged. Coaches are watching how players react when things get tense. Do you rise to the moment? Or do you shrink? If someone takes a cheap shot, how do you respond? Controlled aggression matters. The Bears want to be known as a physical team. That identity starts now, and there's a domino effect here. If Caleb looks sharp, if the line holds up, if the skill guys win their reps, suddenly the defense is on notice. Iron sharpens iron. And this practice is a litmus test, not just for talent, but for chemistry. Do these guys trust each other when the play breaks down? Do they pick each other up when someone misses an assignment? Do they communicate without the coaching staff screaming at them? These are the hidden details that separate playoff teams from average ones. Even the coaching staff is being evaluated here. Ben Johnson is in the spotlight. How he scripts the day, how he adapts when Miami throws something unexpected, how he manages Caleb's reps. All of that is being watched. Same goes for the defensive staff. Are they putting players in position to succeed? Are they recognizing mismatches in real time? Because yes, it's practice, but it's also the best simulation of game day you can get before September. And for the rookies, this moment is bigger than they even realize. Everything moves faster. The physicality is higher. The margin for error is smaller. One drop ball, one busted coverage, one missed block. it sticks in a coach's mind. But so does a clutch third down conversion or a contested catch. These joint practices create memory points, and those memory points shape decisions when a roster is cut down. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could be one of the most shocking moves of the offseason, whispers from multiple sources suggest that the Chicago Bears have finalized a deal with the Kansas City Chiefs to bring Patrick Mahomes to Soldier Field. While the official announcements are still pending, insiders claim that discussions have been ongoing for weeks and that the Bears front office has been aggressively pursuing a quarterback of Mahomes' caliber. The rumors indicate that the trade involves multiple draft picks and possibly another key player moving in the opposite direction to the Chiefs, though the exact details remain murky. Speculation is mounting that this move could redefine the Bears' offensive strategy, as Mahomes' presence would instantly transform the team's identity. Analysts are already debating how the coaching staff will adjust play calling to maximize Mahomes' strengths, while fans are buzzing with excitement and disbelief. Social media is ablaze with reaction videos, tweets, and speculation, with some fans claiming it is a once-in-a-generation acquisition, while others are questioning the price paid. Behind closed doors, sources suggest that Mahomes himself has been in preliminary conversations with Bears management, hinting at his willingness to embrace a new challenge and potentially lead the franchise to its first Super Bowl contention in decades. Insiders continue to speculate on how this potential blockbuster trade could impact both franchises, with the Chiefs rumored to be in negotiations to acquire several high-value draft picks that would allow them to rebuild around emerging talent. Analysts suggest that the Chiefs' decision to part ways with Mahomes may be financially motivated or part of a larger strategic vision, though skepticism remains high given Mahomes' status as one of the league's most elite quarterbacks. Meanwhile, Bears fans appear cautiously optimistic, as rumors indicate that the team is prepared to restructure its salary cap to accommodate Mahomes' contract, which could include incentives tied to performance and playoff appearances. The chatter surrounding this trade has ignited debates among former players, coaches, and insiders, many of whom question whether the Bears can provide the level of support Mahomes is accustomed to in Kansas City. Speculation also includes potential coaching changes or strategic shifts to ensure that Mahomes has adequate protection and weapons, with some suggesting that key acquisitions may follow to strengthen the offensive line and receiving core. The rumor mill is relentless, with each new tip adding layers of intrigue, and some believe that this move could signal a full-scale attempt by the Bears to re-establish themselves as perennial contenders in the NFL, a franchise once historically known for resilience, but now rumored to be poised for a dramatic revival under Mahomes' leadership. The football world is rife with conjecture regarding how Mahomes' arrival in Chicago might alter the team's dynamics, with insiders hinting at possible ripple effects across the entire roster. Sources close to the situation suggest that veteran players may have already been consulted about Mahomes' potential integration, with rumors that team leaders are eager yet cautious about adjusting to a quarterback known for his unique style and improvisational prowess. Analysts speculate that this could trigger further roster moves, including trades, free agent signings, or even releases designed to optimize team chemistry around Mahomes' talents. The hype surrounding the rumor has also reached international audiences, with European and Latin American fan bases reportedly following every detail, eager to witness what many insiders are already calling a high-stakes gamble by the Bears front office. Rumors indicate that Mahomes' presence could attract additional sponsorships, media attention, and ticket sales, transforming Soldier Field into a hotspot for marquee matchups. Meanwhile, whispers suggest that the Chiefs are quietly preparing for life without Mahomes, exploring new quarterback prospects and potential adjustments to their offensive system, though the uncertainty surrounding their next steps has only fueled further speculation. The prevailing sentiment in these reports is one of dramatic possibility, with insiders framing this potential trade as not merely a player transaction, but a statement of intent by the Bears to challenge the status quo in the league and reignite their fan base's enthusiasm in unprecedented ways. The timing of this rumored deal has added another layer of intrigue, as sources suggest negotiations may have coincided with internal assessments of both teams' future trajectories. Industry insiders indicate that the Bears' leadership has been methodically analyzing Mahomes' performance metrics, leadership qualities, and potential impact on team culture, with speculation that this evaluation influenced the urgency of the proposed trade. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are said to have conducted in-depth analyses of their own, weighing the short-term risks against long-term benefits, a process reportedly complicated by Mahomes' superstar status and contractual obligations. Rumors suggest that Mahomes' camp may have played an active role in these discussions, potentially advocating for a move that offers both competitive opportunity and a fresh organizational environment. Fans and pundits alike have speculated endlessly about what this trade could mean for the Bears' playoff ambitions, with whispers of immediate Super Bowl contention and heightened national attention if Mahomes were to join the roster. Social media chatter reinforces the sense of anticipation, with insider leaks fueling debates about potential supporting cast adjustments, coaching alignment, and whether the Bears' offensive scheme will fully exploit Mahomes' unique skill set. According to rumors circulating in football circles, this deal could redefine the offseason landscape, prompting rival teams to reconsider their own strategies and potentially sparking a wave of consequential trades and acquisitions across the league in reaction to this unprecedented move. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.